Welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. Here is where the guys discuss, debate, and consider all aspects of living like a true gentleman. Rich and Anton will consider entrepreneurship, success, fashion and styling, family life, and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our latest saunter into the life of a gentleman. Guys, take it away.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of the Gentleman podcast. And in our episode this month, we're talking about something that has been a topic for many people in relationships and around the world, depending upon where you are. And it's the topic of gender roles, which has become very controversial. Many people believe that gender roles should be very fluid, depending upon the situation. And there's other people who are more, I would say, contemporary or classic, that says that, you know what, there are certain rules, there are certain roles, there are certain jobs that should be done by the genders. I agree, but then I don't agree. So this week or this month, we're going to talk about it. Gender roles and how we feel about them as two gentlemen who have grown up in this time. So, Rich, when we just broach the subject of gender roles, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think you summed it up pretty good, explaining what it is and things like that. I'll kind of just start off by just giving my position on it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in gender roles, honestly. I never bought into the fact like certain careers are for men, certain careers are for women,
Right.
things like that. There's a lot of jokes get made about, there's Meet the Parents. The guy was a nurse. That was a running throughout the whole movie and the whole series. I mean, it was a joke.
Right.
Triage nurse. Everybody's what's up with him? Nothing. I mean, I don't see any clear-cut lines. Even doing things around the house.
Right.
Men, women. I do laundry. I do dishes. As well as doing stuff outside in the yard. I don't really see where there needs to be gender roles, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just that modern man. I don't know. Maybe a lot of guys are gonna say, "Man, I've gone soft." So I'm not quite sure. But for me personally, I don't buy into any gender roles at all.
I get it, and I do believe that those roles do have to have some nuance and some fluidity, right? But I also believe, so I guess just to give a little backstory, the reason why we're talking about this, I made a post a couple of weeks ago or whatever on Instagram, and I was talking about the garbage cans at our house, right? So something happened, the garbage bags burst or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And my wife came to me and she said that the garbage cans were a mess, right? And at no point did she think about cleaning them. And at no point did I think that she would clean them. Because in my mind, in my brain, anything basically outside of something that she just may decide to do of the house is my responsibility, right?
Yes, sure.
But in saying that, those are the parameters that we set as a family, right? And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I've always felt that, and I know I might get some backlash from this from some of the ladies, but outside the house, cutting the lawn, raking the leaves, picking up poop in the grass, whatever, it's kind of like my job to do, but I've assumed that role and she's perfectly fine with it, right? Now, that's not to say that I don't do other things in the house. Have no problem cleaning, right? Help her clean, do whatever. I wash my own clothes. I don't do that many dishes but early on in our relationship, I said, hey, I don't really like to do dishes. But will I do them if I'm cooking? If I'm in the kitchen, will I straighten up? Sure. So I say all that to say that I agree with you that there aren't certain jobs that should preclude certain people. But from a lot of what I've read and what I've seen is that there's certain jobs that just appeals overarchingly to certain genders. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I'm not sure. In my secular work, I've come across, you know, women and men that have kind of crossed over and done all kinds of different things. So, I guess I would have to say I disagree. Really, I don't see how you can really define just based off somebody's gender. That's just me.
And I'm not saying it's defined by their gender. I'm saying that that's where that gender tends to lean. So, like you case in point.
Well, let me say this. You're right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna say construction, the trades, things like that. You don't see a lot of women in the trades, in joining unions.
Right.
Signing up to be a pipe fitter or something like that.
Right.
No, you don't see that.
But there are your outliers. There are your outliers.
Yeah, there are some, and they do a good job with it.
Right.
Same way with I don't know. Let's say a florist. 9 times out of 10, if I say I got a friend that's a florist, you're going to think it's a female friend.
Right.
But guys can be very creative too, very artistic, and be able to be an amazing florist and create breathtaking bouquets and things like that. So, but you're right. I guess if you look at the percentages and things like that, then it does kind of lend itself to be, to what societal norms in people's heads are, those stereotypes.
Right.
I guess it is what it is.
No, I think it's interesting. Like, I really do think it's interesting because, like, when we kind of opened up this discussion, you talked about the Meet the Parents movie, how
Yes.
she was a nurse. And it was funny because we could all understand, like, yeah, like, this guy's a nurse. And in our minds, and I'm not saying that it's correct or incorrect, but 9 times out of 10, a nurse is a female. And I believe part of that just goes to maybe their wiring and what they're, what women, I would say by and large that a nurse is a nurturing kind of field, right? You have to be a people person. You have to be kind of a nurturer. And I'm not saying that men are not nurturers, but by and large, we aren't known to be nurturers. I think that there's outliers to every, stereotype or what some people may say a rule. I believe that there are percentages within the percentages, right? But 9 times out of 10, your nurses are going to be females. And there's nobody really pushing, like, when you went to school, there was no, like, maybe there was, I don't know, maybe there was a nursing program in your school. And if there was, 9 times out of 10, they were girls, like candy stripers back in the day. I don't even know if that exists anymore. They were always females, so it's just, I believe, what people kind of gravitate toward. And I don't know if it's our instinctual wiring or, whatever it is, but we kind of just gravitate towards certain things. And I think that that's where the gender roles kind of were established. And I think that what kind of made it bad was some heavy-handedness, within those roles. And I think that's might have what made it kind of like a bad thing or a taboo kind of conversation.
Yeah, could very well be the case. But like I said, in today's society, to me, I think people can do anything they want to do, and I think it's lessening the farther we go in time. Those roles aren't so clearly defined.
I agree.
You got a lot of people who are breaking out of the mold, if you will, and just doing what makes them happy. And a lot of times, like I said, especially guys going towards some of the roles that are, or the careers that are maybe traditionally thought of as feminine, I've seen a lot of guys actually excelling in some of these kind of fields.
Right.
Just because they bring something different to the table, a fresh perspective,
right,
a different twist on it, things like that. I mean, you think about it traditionally, a cook or a chef or something like that,
right,
someone who's just good in the kitchen, you would always think, well, that's, Big Mama, grandma, the women. But now you look at these cooking shows, most of the top chefs are guys.
But I'm gonna jump in there for 1 second though. So in the home, traditionally, yes, females took care of in what they considered a nuclear family, right? Mm-hmm. The wife or the mother kind of took care. Yeah.
Now you've done it. Now you've done it.
Yeah, of course, I've done it. Whatever. Hey, we're gonna get canceled. It's okay. But in traditional households, yes, the wife or the mom did most of the cooking. But throughout history, most chefs are men.
Yeah.
Most professional chefs are men. So it's weird there where, in the home, and I guess it's what was, back in the day, a lot of, you could live on one income back in the day, and I think that's what it was, Yeah. It's very, like I said, it's very nuanced, Rich. And I have no answers or hard and fast rules. Like, I know what works for me and mine, right?
Yeah.
I do meal prep on Sundays for our lunch. I cook,
Yes.
I don't have a problem cleaning up the kitchen. I wash my own clothes. I take care of the outside of the house. She primarily takes care of the inside of the house. She does. But I help her, and I have no problem with that, So I think that, when she and I speak, I always say we all have responsibilities, right?
Yep.
And I think sometimes if you have those conversations outside of what people deem what the societal norms are, as long as you have those conversations early on, I think you'll be fine, because your roles within your situation don't have to match anybody else's as long as it works for you. And I think that's what it boils down to.
I think that's the big thing, within each family and the family dynamic, do what works for you. And as far as careers and things like that, do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? Look, a couple guys like us growing up, you ever think we'd be in a fashion design per se? Never thought that, but here we are. And just never know where life's going to bring you. I definitely have learned that. But to define these roles, for me, just let people do whatever. Like you said, I think you summed it up best. Each family's going to figure out for themselves what's going to work best for them. If you're happy with it, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. And you got to keep goofballs out of your ears. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
You got to block out the noise.
Yeah.
You can't be like, you're watching.
Come over, they see you in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Scrubbing away at dishes, give you a hard time.
That's not your boy.
Yeah, right. Push back on them. You know?
That's not your man's. But if that's, like I said, if that's what you want to do, that works for you guys, have at it. Do it.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. But I do think I got to mow the lawn. I got to take out the trash. And like I said in my little post, it's not that she's
over here.
Huh?
Caveman over here.
I'm just saying, it's not that she's incapable. I just don't feel like she should have to, right? If
I feel you.
And that's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. And I don't think she wants to. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't want to. And if she wanted to, I still probably wouldn't let her do it, because I would feel like, you gotta, it's perfectly good goofball in the house. Yeah, it's a perfectly good goofball in the house. Why is his wife out there mowing the lawn, pulling weeds? And I don't care what people think, Rich. She's happy I'm out there mowing the lawn and picking the weeds. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm done.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Life of a Gentleman podcast. Like you've come to realize over the years, been doing this for like 5-6 years now, guys. We don't always talk about fashion. Talk about gentleman's lifestyle and just things that guys talk about when nobody's watching. So I hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to connecting with you guys.